I mean, Doomtap has been commentating some races and not watching them. So yeah, I want to call out PH for this. Fuck
This
PH.
year, right? You're gonna win this year. You're gonna win this no logic.
No, I'm choking
You're
straight
choking.
away.
Okay, I just clicked start recording
We
because I
haven't been
need to.
unleashed yet.
No, this is the unleashing episode. So yeah, hey Tam, welcome to Speed Trap. Um,
Hey.
your runners will probably know you as being the second person to do Blockbuster on a restream. But is there
Mhm.
anything else you'd like to say to introduce yourself?
That is my crowning achievement. No, I play a lot of Rando. That's kind of it.
That's not it. You also do speedruns, and not only of A Link to the Past. You're a polymath.
Yeah, intermittently. I kind of wish I was better at sticking to speedruns.
Really? Why
Maybe
is that?
speed. Well, I like speedrunning conceptually. I tend to come at it with the wrong approach and burnt out and hated it.
Um, yeah, that's a problem. I think that's a problem a lot of people have. I know you've mentioned before that you have that problem specifically with Link to the Past, but you felt like your approach to other games was healthier or more productive or something. Do you still think that's true? I know you haven't really done a lot of. You were on a big after image run for a while and had world record for a while. I don't know if you still do, um, but you haven't done that in a while either. So I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't done much, I mean, speedrunning in general since kind of enjoying it more because I was enjoying it last week and then I stopped for other reasons, but hopefully I plan on coming back to running NMG at least soon. And I would like to stick at it this time.
That's cool. I mean, it'd be cool to see it. One thing about League that is funny that I didn't predict when I started it is that it has made a lot of people into seasonal NMG runners, where they're like they'll run for like 6 weeks, like right before League until right after League, and then they don't play anymore. So maybe you can be one of that crowd. You actually were the last couple episodes. I was looking into your history a little bit, mostly to meme on you later, but also kind of to prepare for this. And I noticed that you skipped a couple leagues. You did the first two and the most recent two, but skipped a couple in the middle.
Yeah, I didn't do the vanilla preset one because that
Right.
didn't interest me at all. And then I think the other one I didn't do was like after season two, whichever one was right before the I stopped. It was miserable for me because I was like it was when there was 16
Yeah.
people groups and I was put in the highest group and played a bunch of people who I was intimidated by, which was like totally the wrong approach to racing at all. But it really bothered me and I did not have fun that season.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think the 8-person brackets is better in a lot of ways, especially in that way.
I agree.
Um, yeah. Okay. So I guess as far as I know, your history is that you started with Rando. So when I first like met you, I had never even heard of you, and then sort of all of a sudden, everyone was talking about how good you were at Rando. Um, then I popped in your stream and started hanging out. But did you like form fully sprung from the ether as a Rando god?
I'm not sure. I mean, I definitely played Early Ranter for a long time. I did like a lot of friendly races, so like in-house races, I guess, with people before really racing, joining the general competitive scene. So I was like a lot better than like a new runner tends to be.
Gotcha. So by in-house,
Um,
do you mean literally like are your roommates into it or something, or like?
no, it was this one Discord that I'm still in that we would hang out a lot and play rando or other games together. It was a lot of fun, and like I sort of learnt the game with a group of other new players, and that was really good for learning actually.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. I think a lot about how hard it is to actually get into things. We can talk about that a little bit more later. Were you like? Did you have fond childhood memories of this game? Were you? I don't know. How'd you get into it? Why did you pick this game?
No, my memories of A Link to the Past stopped with playing like only the light world of the GBA version.
Oh yeah.
I never even played the SNES version. Um, so I didn't even like I barely knew that this was a Zelda game. It was I'm a pretty big Zelda fan, but like I didn't like when I was growing up I had a Nintendo 64 and an NES at my grandparents' house. So I
And
like
you just
skipped over
skipped
the
the
SNES
SNES.
generation. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I didn't really learn about this game much until I randomly stumbled upon a speed gaming restream at one point. I was like, wow, this looks so fun. And then I just kind of got into it.
That's interesting. Did you have
Um,
any awareness of? I mean, I guess you were on Twitch if you saw that. So were you watching other speedruns or other randomizers or anything, or were you just like bored and clicking around and came across it?
I'm not really sure how I ended up on speed gaming. I I did enjoy speedrunning. Like I was a spectator. I didn't do it myself. I would watch Ocarina of Time speedruns, and
Mm,
I think I had watched like GDQ stuff. So I know that like the two big things that got me into the game were stumbling onto speed gaming streams and watching Andy's swordless run that
yeah.
he did at GDQ.
Swordless
I
All
don't remember
Dungeons
what,
with Patty.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember which one happened first. So it's possible that it was GDQ that got me into it, but I feel like it wasn't. Like I'm not sure what the connection was between watching Ocarina of Time speedruns and suddenly being on speed gaming.
Well, I'm gonna guess that you fell asleep and got raided. Got on a raid train to speed gaming or something like that. You know, somebody sent you
It's
there.
possible. Yeah.
Happened a lot to me. I used to be less picky, and so that kind of serendipity would happen. Now, if I get raided into a channel I don't know, I'm fucking out of there, man.
Yeah, no, I leave before the raid even goes off.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a
Um,
reader.
so okay, so then how did you? Well, I guess it makes sense. You were interested in speedrunning. You actually started playing the randomizer, but I guess you were racing people. You're a competitive person. I feel like I can say that. And so it made sense to want to improve and get faster. And a lot of the tech is comes from the speedrunning community. Is that sort of how you got involved in speedrunning, or did it, or just because you used to be interested in, you're like, oh, I should stop talking for you. How'd you get into it?
Yeah, I mean, it was all kind of like happenstance almost. Like I didn't even play for a while. I just watched the restreams that I would watch like Andy, and I have a tendency to like pick up new games, play them a lot for like a day, and then never touch them again. So I was like, I don't want to taint my enjoyment of watching the speed gaming restreams. So I didn't play
Interesting.
for
Okay.
ages, and then eventually I was like, it's been long enough. I'm probably genuinely enjoying this. I should try it. Um, and then like my plan wasn't like I'm gonna pick this up and be a rando god and speedrun it. I just wanted to have fun, and then like I kept playing and trying to go faster because I guess that just is natural for
Yeah.
me. And then eventually like I would play multi-worlds with people casually, and it always kind of became a competition of like how quickly can I get stuck before other people are too slow to find my useful items.
Right.
And then yeah, through that I met this Discord that I mentioned earlier with a lot of people who were also very competitive, and we started racing and stuff. And I enjoy learning new things. So when there's like and there's so much to learn for a randomizer that I just kind of naturally learned more and more until I was a somewhat competent player at the game. It took me a while to actually consider speedrunning though, and I'm not really sure why. Because I was like a big speedrun watcher. But I don't think I did many speedruns for a long time. Like not even any serious attempts until Wayne MG, which was I don't know when that was.
2020,
2019, 2020. Okay.
maybe 2021. I
Yeah,
think 2020 was all dungeons. Maybe Point MG was 2021.
I was not around for the All Engines tournament. I
Right.
think the first time I really started looking at speedrun seriously was like the end of the German tournament,
Oh wow,
which I still don't really know anything about, but I just remember watching the finals. Eri versus Blaine.
that wasn't Ari versus Blaine in the finals.
Oh, was it you
Yeah, it
and
was
Blaine?
me versus Ari in the final. The
Oh,
the bracket was super fucked up. Um, Ari knocked Blaine out in like round one or something, and I was like, they
oh,
didn't seed the bracket correctly. You know, I joked for a long time about how I outplaced Blaine at that tournament, which was years ago, and I felt like he was, he was someone I looked up to. He was like a great player, and now my PB is better than his. So funny how those things go.
okay.
Um,
I guess I misremembered it a little then.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
the Ari versus Blaine was like the real finals. Whoever won that race was obviously winning the tournament,
right.
but it wasn't. It didn't happen last.
Yeah,
Um,
like Eri versus Doom now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah, I did like a typical rando thing where you every few months you're like, I should do an NMG run, and you get like a 140, which is 10 minutes better than your previous run, and you do that until you have a kind of okay time, and then it
right.
gets difficult to actually get better, and you hate it and quit.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do have that experience. Do you remember? I guess you liked speedrunning, so you wouldn't have this. Because one thing I'm interested in is a lot of people. This is a lot less true than it was a couple years ago, but I think there is still a sort of feeling in the rando centric parts of the Link to the Past diaspora that like speedrunning is. I think a lot of people have sort of an ick feeling towards it. They're like sort of scared of it, or they're like, "Oh, that looks like work, not fun," or they're like something like that. Did you have any of that kind of thing? I guess if you were already watching speedruns, maybe that's less likely.
A little bit. I think that's kind of this. You get this feeling, especially as a rando player, that you're just like, I'm just gonna do the run and I'm gonna get better. Like it's just gonna come, and then it doesn't really happen because you have to practice with a lot more intent than that.
Yeah.
Um, so it feels like it's progress is so slow that I think that contributes. At least that was how it was for me at first. Um, and in general, I think people like there's such a different type of being good between rando and speedrunning that it's just kind of a different skill set, and it's kind of rare for people to enjoy both skill sets.
I think that's true, but can you maybe go into more about what you think is different about the skill sets? Like obviously there's some very obvious like literal interpretation of that, but I don't know, do you think it takes a different mindset or anything? Like what's the
In rando, I think rando is like mostly about just knowing more things. Like you just learn. You do like it's important to have breadth rather than depth. You want
Mhm.
to be able to do things in every single situation, not necessarily do any single situation optimally. So to get good at rando, you kind of play a lot and you learn in terms of good decisions in different situations and good room strats in different equipment sets. But you don't like go, or at least most people, you don't have to like take one rando skill and spend hours in the practice hack grinding it.
Right.
So it's kind of just it's something that you can pick up more easily just by playing. Whereas just doing a speedrun, it doesn't really teach you how to do the speedrun very well. It sort of teaches you get
That's
okay at
true.
it, but you don't get good at it.
I think a lot of people do a lot of rando and also get okay at it, but not good at it. So I think there's also an aspect of like I think you're exceptionally good at like turning what happens into seeds into better decisions. I don't think I'm good at that. Like I mess things up and then I'm like, oh well, I guess that's life. Fuck rando or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like obviously it's important to have good execution in rando, but it's like there's clearly some people who just their brains are better at rando, and it's not like tangible or easily trained, and I don't really understand it. I feel a little bit not like I'm a god at it, but I feel decent at
Yeah.
having a rando brain, and I could not explain it to anyone else. It's just that is I just make decisions kind of and they work.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of really strong random players are kind of like that. Like if you ask Chex why he does things, he usually can't give you like a clear explanation of why he thinks to go this way instead of that way. Um, there are exceptions, like Blaine is extremely articulate about it, but I think for a lot of people, something subconscious is happening where they're like their gut decisions about which way to go gets honed over time
Yeah.
from playing a lot of seeds. I mean, I think that happens to everybody, but some people get better at it a lot faster, and I don't know why.
A lot of it is definitely experience, but it's kind of if you ever like look in the main rando Discord, you can kind of tell some people just in terms of like reaching early milestones. Some people will get their first sub two seed within like a week,
Yeah,
and some people will play for months and not get it. It's just I don't know. Some people are better at learning rando than other people.
yeah, that's true. Um, I'm looking at my list of things that I want to talk to people about. Yeah, well, we've talked about most of this. Do you have any particularly memorable career highlights? We already talked about Blockbuster. Anything else of that caliber?
Yeah, it was hard to top Blockbuster. Um, I have a lot of things that feel pretty good. I generally feel like I am accomplished. I was very, very excited about winning HMG last year. That was kind of the first time that I really feel like I lived up to my own expectations for a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've tended not to do very well in rando tournaments actually. Like main tournament, I've fallen out in groups twice. I have done okay at the SGL tournaments, but they're a bit like like random best of one casual boots. It's kind of I've definitely won races in SGL that I didn't deserve to. Um, and generally, like I mean, I don't think I've won a tournament other than HMG, which is not like winning a tournament is difficult, but
Yeah. No, but yeah, I think that's true. I think that I don't know why it is, but like your ladder performance generally is really, really good. Like there's a little bit of a mismatch between that and your like main tournament performance or whatever. Do you have any idea why that is? Is it like do you get in your head in tournament races or something like that?
I mean, some of it is just like chance. It happens. Sometimes you get bad groups, or you do poorly in one race that mattered. Ladder is a bit weird. In general, ladder feels a bit more like a participation contest sometimes. A lot of the way to get points in ladder is just race a lot and have like a okay win rate. But that's not to say that I feel bad about how I've done in ladder because I have a pretty good win rate in ladder. Um, yeah, I don't know. I definitely do get in my head about tournaments and like freak out about the races. So that's probably not irrelevant for some of my poor performances. But I don't really feel like I'm a like a tournament choker or anything. It's just it has happened that I have done poorly. But HMG was kind of a I did really well in the tournament. Most of my races were pretty good. I felt like I played well, and it was just kind of a HMG was such a big tournament for me because I'm so invested in the glitch scene,
Right.
and like glitch racing is just way more fun to me than any other kind of rando. And I've put so much time into like learning glitches and glitch logic and understanding how to play glitch scenes that doing well in that tournament felt like a lot of vindication for that time spent, especially given last year or the previous year's tournament where I felt that like I did all right in the tournament, but some of my races were so bad. Like I just failed glitches over and over and made
Yeah.
poor choices and lost. Didn't even do Blockbuster first.
You even lost 2 races to me. How ridiculous.
Three
Three, that's
races.
right. That's right. Um, yeah, I
That,
think
that was very funny how you were so doom and gloom about racing me, and then you just won the first two races like easily.
that was really,
It was
really
so
surprising.
funny.
Yeah, I wish maybe I should watch this back. I wonder what happened. Um, yeah, but that's not gonna. That kind of thing isn't happening this year, right? You're gonna win this year. You're gonna win this no logic.
No, I'm choking
You're
straight
choking.
away. Yeah.
You have a first opponent. You're up against Muffins, right?
Yeah, I'm playing Muffins. Our first race is Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah,
You
Wednesday.
posted that. Yeah, it's like Wednesday, Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday at 2 Eastern, I think.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'll try to
Yeah.
calm some of those. I have all 3 of those days off of work coincidentally, so maybe I'll be able to do some calming. Your performance in no logic pickup races recently has been just disgusting.
No, I
You do not
I
look
agree.
beatable at the moment. Like you're crushing everyone else by 15 minutes, like over and over and over again. It's preposterous.
I'm not really sure what's happening. I mean, I raced tracks yesterday and he won,
That's
but
true. Yeah,
that was like the first race in 10 races, many of which were like 4 or 5 person races that I didn't come first in, which is like
that's a
absurd.
crazy
That's just
streak. Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
I don't really feel like I don't think I'm that much better than everyone else. I do think I am playing well. Like I'm failing glitches a lot less. I'm making mostly good choices. I hope it lasts in the tournament. It can only take 1 or 2 bad matches to ruin everything. But
yeah. I mean, I think that a streak that hot has to have some luck going for it. But I mean, obviously, also you are very good and playing well. So I don't know. You're my
some of the
favorite to win the tournament, but it could certainly go to several other people. So
some of those races were definitely absolute luck that I totally didn't deserve to win. But that's random.
just get lucky.
Um, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's interesting because it feels very difficult to say that. There's kind of like 4, maybe 5. I'm not sure the number, but there's like a group of people who are such no logic fanatics that it feels very difficult to pick anyone else but them to win.
Yeah,
But we do kind of have a pretty promising new batch of runners.
I agree.
Like, it should be interesting.
I don't follow the runners or the races really even closely enough to have like a great firsthand perspective of this. But I feel like, especially from the No Logic tournament, especially Duden and Skelly seem like real threats.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I mean, Boo, who won the mental tournament,
Yeah, I know
there's,
less about him, but yeah, also doing very
yeah,
well.
Sacredutes. He lost his race against Muffins, but he did pretty well. He definitely could win races against some of the big names.
Yeah.
Muffin as well. He's pretty good. He's sort of as my mentee. I was his dedicated mentor for the tournament. I have an obligation to destroy him, but I
Right.
wish him luck in the lower bracket.
Your protege, yeah.
Yeah, it'll reflect poorly on me, both either if I lose to him or if he loses any other race. So
Oh, so you need him to get second place to you in grand finals?
yeah,
Okay,
that would be
okay.
ideal.
Is that what your bracket prediction has, or
No, I should have done that.
that would have been pretty funny. Yeah, so one of the other things I like talking about on here, uh, kind of already covered this, but I like to ask what you're working on, what your current goals are. Obviously, doing your best in no logic seems like the main one right now, but do you have anything else on your mind?
Yeah, there's kind of a lot of different things that all came up recently. The No Logic tournament being the main one, I guess. I do like loosely plan on getting more into speedrunning Vanilla Link to the Past, which is starting with RPO
Yeah,
shoutouts. Um, yeah, no, I think I kind of expect to be doing NMG after the No Logic tournament, hopefully.
you'll probably be doing it
Um,
during the no logic tournament.
yeah, probably. Well, no, I'm gonna crash and burn.
Well, even so, I
Um,
mean, you know
yeah,
how long it
maybe
takes to get losers bracket matches scheduled.
that's true. No, I've been kind of picking up crosscode a bit more. We started doing like a weekly race with some of the only people who are running the game, which is a lot of fun. Like we just
That's
hang
cool.
out and it's not really a race because we're all rusty and pretty separate in terms of PBs, but it's fun to just hang out and do a random run. So maybe that will be I'll pick that up more when one of the other things finishes. I'm also still I've mentioned this to a couple of people, but not very widely. I'm vaguely slowly working on a TAS for A Link to the Past
Right.
for All Dungeons RMG low percent.
I did one screen of that. I'm a
Yes,
huge
you're the
help.
co-author of the test. No, it's very slow going, especially right now because I'm involved in other stuff. But it's like I'm not giving up on it. I'm just like temporarily putting it down and then
Right, yeah.
picking up for a couple of days and so on.
That's the
That
kind of
I
project that
don't.
it's easy to just pick up whenever you have a
Yeah,
afternoon.
yeah, exactly. I don't expect it to be finished anytime soon, but maybe maybe I'll hit a inspired streak and do a bunch of work on it at some point.
That's
I've
cool.
also hit a period where I picked up a bunch of casual games from like games that I have known that I should have played for a while and then didn't.
Oh, so you're gonna play
So
Chrono Trigger?
oh yeah, sure. No, like I played Baldur's Gate recently. That was
Yeah.
sick. I played Nier Automata. It was also pretty fun.
Yeah, you made me want to
I've
get back
been
into that. I played the first chapter of Nier Automata and really liked it, and then stopped for absolutely no reason.
yeah, it's pretty good. I was told not to play Replicant, so I've been avoiding that. But I don't know, maybe it's good. I also started reading a visual novel, which was a horrible choice right before the No Logic tournament, but
Is
those
it
are big time investments.
is it like 200 books worth?
Um, I mean, it's long. I think I've been like 30 or 40 hours into it.
Is it One Piece?
No, one piece of what?
Or is it a secret? Or are you gonna spill to the
No,
pod?
it's called The Witch on the Holy Night, or Witch on the Holy Night.
Okay, that's a cool title, but I've obviously never heard of it.
What my new profile pic is from.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, it's very. I don't see profile pics very often because I use compact
Right?
mode, but I did notice it when I went to DM you about something that your profile had changed.
I'm
But
an
I
entirely
never,
different
I never
person
say
now.
anything about that. I think it's too weird to like point out to people. It's like when someone gets a haircut and you're like, "You look weird now."
Yeah,
I'm like, I don't know. I feel weird about saying
that's
things.
exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Some people don't change their profile picture at all, and some people change them frequently. I'm more of the latter.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate like doing any sort of work. Like it feels like work to me. Like what I'm gonna take a picture and crop it and put it. Am I gonna fix it on Twitch too? Like I have to do this in I don't know. I never bother.
Right. It's
Um,
probably like counterproductive for the purpose of a profile picture.
yeah. I mean, it's bad. It's bad for the personal branding.
That's true. The thing is, if you have one profile picture for too long and it's like a character, people just think you look like the character.
Yeah. I just imagine you with bandages, sort of
Yeah.
pouring off of you.
Permanently worried expression on my face.
That part I think is probably true.
Yeah, no, it is.
What
Especially when I play No Logic.
do you have to be worried about? You have plot armor.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So you were talking about how you sort of have had trouble with speedrunning. You get burned out. You have a bad approach. You're so on, so forth. But you also want to get back into it. Do you have like a new strategy? Do you have a new mindset? Is it going to be? Is this the time? It's going to be good this time.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, I kind of, at some point, I just realized that, like, if specifically doing well is important, which might sound like a weird thing to say, but you can enjoy speedrunning without doing well. But I don't think that I do. So I think I just realized that, like, in that case, it's the more important thing to be doing is practicing, not slamming out runs. especially given that I have never really been a super dedicated speedrunner and I don't have a lot of the polish that more grindy types have. So really, I just want to like focus more on making sure I'm good rather than doing runs. And like, kind of an aside, fixing my resetting issue because resetting is like so toxic for me. I hate it, but like sometimes it happens,
Yeah.
and I really need to resist doing that because it's such a for me it's such a negative like feedback loop because I just feel bad and then I do a run because I'm feeling bad. I fuck up the run and reset and blah blah blah.
So what are you gonna do differently this time? Are you gonna, if you feel like resetting, are you gonna be like, I don't know, practice instead or whatever?
I mean, probably just not reset. Like I think the like no reset runs are so much better. Like a lot of I kind of feel that this is a problem a lot of people have where doing a run that can't PB is worthless, which I don't think is true. But it's definitely something that I thought for a long time and that I would reset over. But like, and I guess for some people, it genuinely might be the case that they just lose interest and aren't invested in playing 1 minute behind. But
Yeah.
for me specifically, a lot of my problem is just that I lose my mind in like Dark World because I don't have the reps in, and I if I just do more runs, then it's like stress level goes down and the skill quality goes up, and it's just ultimately it's just like frustrating for me to be stuck in the light world when like I'm I'm resetting runs that aren't even like bad light worlds for me. It's just frustrating things happen and I get frustrated, but I think I should just ignore it.
Yeah. Um, I have found personally that just ignoring it and moving on is generally the best approach for me. Um, but also, I've found that a lot of the time the causality goes the other direction. Where if I'm already frustrated, like I've had a bad day or I didn't sleep well or like whatever's going on in my life, a lot of the time that will translate to me like wanting to reset or getting frustrated about everything or whatever. And I think that like if when it's going that direction, it's kind of pointless, and I just personally I need to like go eat some ice cream and take a nap or whatever. Like I just can't get anything done when I'm in that kind of feedback loop. It's just all totally self destructive. And
Right. I
like
think I sorry, didn't mean
no,
to cut
go
you
ahead,
off.
go ahead.
I kind of have a pretty bad experience with that because I do get very stressed and frustrated about real life stuff, and I tend to not deal with it well when I get frustrated about the video game, which is partly unavoidable, I guess, but also partly due to my attitude with completing runs. You know, if I just am playing the game to play the game, then I think it should help with that. I mean, I guess I don't really know. It's very painful that sometimes, like, speedrunning or playing red or whatever can be an attempt to, ignore real life problems or escape from them. And then the frustration just like bleeds in if you start doing
Yeah,
poorly. And I mean, I don't really know how to deal with that. And maybe it's just a problem that I can't deal with.
I
I hope that
personally
it's not the case, but it definitely has been the case in the past. And I've sort of forced myself into like continuing doing runs over a longer period of time when it's just absolutely destroying me mentally and it's awful.
yeah, you got to be able to sort of be in tune with yourself because sometimes it is actually the case that you stop resetting and finish a run, you'll in an hour and a half you'll feel good. You'll be like, okay, I relaxed, I finished a run. That's it sucked, but whatever, that was what I wanted to do, and you'll feel better. Sometimes you'll sit there for an hour and a half hating every second of it, and you're like, oh well, that wasn't the kind of mood where doing the no reset was gonna help. Like, oops, fucked up my evening.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
mean,
also for me, I think that I don't know how this applies to anyone else, but for me, I don't think that I can do something competitive as an escape. Um, if I need to escape from a problem in real life, I need to like it has to be something I can't fail at, right? I can read a book, I can listen to music, I can like whatever. I can't do something where I can lose at the end. That will not help me escape from anything.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't know how other people feel about it.
Yeah, I could see that. I guess it's very counter to what it might look like when I do runs and reset a lot, but I don't really feel like if I do a run and it's a bad run that it's losing. It's inherently like a loss.
No, I don't
Um,
mean to say that. Although like a
I
random
mean,
race
I get,
can be actually a loss, but
yeah. No, I mean, it's very, it does not help you feel better at anything when you're playing poorly and
yeah,
making mistakes.
I don't
It
know.
is
It's
true
tough.
that at least for me, the fun part of the run is the dark world. So
Yeah, well, that's when the game
resetting
gets
escape,
easy and comfortable.
yeah,
All the hard part is at
yeah,
the beginning.
that's true. I mean, it's definitely some people really enjoy grinding out light worlds, and I I just can't do it. My light world is awful, and I don't, which is like, I don't really plan on getting super good at light world, but I also sometimes just have a low tolerance for bad light worlds, which is a bad combination, which is part of the reason why resetting is a bad idea. I should just get to the dark world where I actually care.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that is true. I think that that will help you. I think that it will make you both better at the game and happier. But maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say in advance. But I hope so. I hope you find something that works. Um,
Again, specifically for me, like I've had runs that are just genuinely mid 124 level runs, and then I lose a minute in the end game. It's like
yeah.
it's ridiculous how difficult that part of the run is to be fast at, and
Uh-huh.
part of the reason that I'm slow at it is because I'm not completing runs. It was so funny actually. This is again totally an aside, but like I when I got my most recent PB and I posted it in the Discord saying something like, "Wow, this Dark World sucked," and everyone was like, "We saved like 30 seconds in the Dark World." And I'm like, I have like splits where I can individual splits where I can save 30 seconds. It was so bad, and then I just got a 10-second gold in GT.
Wow. My GT Gold sucks. One thing I like to do when people post their splits is I do some calculations on them, like what their Dark World time was and what their Light World time was without blue balls, and like their whatever, all that stuff. And then I like just press the GG reaction and I don't say anything, but I know how good your Dark World was. I'm
Yeah,
looking.
I mean it was a lot better than my previous Dark Worlds, but
Right,
that's because I
obviously. Yeah.
spent some time in between NMG attempts. There are some splits in that run which were just god awful. I hated it. I wanted to quit during that run,
Yeah. So
and then it was
yeah,
good
no, go,
PB.
go, go, go. Yeah, it was
That was it.
right. Well, that's one of the things. I think there's a bunch of reasons why I generally. Well, I don't. I'm sort of out of the business of telling people how to play, but I think that it's good for most people to finish runs, both because of all the stuff we just talked about, and also because um, people are really bad at knowing when their run is dead. Um,
Yeah,
People with 129s will be like plus 30 out of light world, and they'll be like, well, I can't PB now. And I'm like, of course you can.
yeah.
Just keep playing.
I'm
And like
gonna
it's that kind of thing. Like you can just save 30 seconds over your dark world.
yeah, I want to call out PH for this. He's so down on his own runs, but he's like one good completed run away from a mid 125.
Yeah, doesn't his
And he
PB
should
have
just.
two deaths in it?
I think that was his previous
Oh, he cut
PB.
that one. Okay, yeah,
But yeah, he was just on like a 125 run and died twice
yeah,
and got a 126 instead.
that was a
But yeah,
crazy run.
I do think that there's kind of a people come in with the wrong expectations, and then what they're doing in runs and attempts is counterproductive and unhelpful. But I don't really want to. I feel so bad because everyone enjoys the game and what they do in their own way, and I don't want to tell people like you would do better if you would just do this because it might they're probably not going to be receptive, or it might not even be what's best for them.
Yeah, I used to engage in that, and I just basically think it's bad. Um,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't think
it's
it
good
helps
for
any of
if
them or anyone.
it's good if people come to you for help. Then I have no reservations about
Yeah.
you know not holding back on my criticisms if I have any. But
Or if they just are PH, in which case you'll call them out
yeah,
publicly.
yeah, fuck PH.
Thank
No,
you.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, thanks
PH
for
is
giving me an intro reel. That'll help for the
yeah
for retention.
the content
So I watched you speedrun Crosscode and oh my god, the Weeb one also After
after
Image.
image.
My feeling is that you did a lot of toxic resetting in Crosscode and After Image. It seemed like you were better about that. Like you were resetting sometimes, but it seemed like you were maybe approaching it in a way that was more fun and less frustrating for you. Is that an accurate impression?
Some of my first, I spent some time in CrossCode doing a lot of toxic resetting. CrossCode has some pretty big time losses that happen in the first few splits, but it's like I'm not good enough at CrossCode for it to matter. So at some point, I just realized that it was stupid and I stopped. Afterimage is a little different. I was resetting a lot in Afterimage, but it's such a short speedrun compared to CrossCode and Link to the Past that runs genuinely do die over really small things.
Yeah, and it seemed like there was some stuff in the beginning that was like either RNG or like really easy to miss for dumb reasons that just basically required a reset in the first like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, and one of the other things is it's a lot quicker to reset in Afterimage. Like Link to the Past, you have to deal with 30 seconds of mashing text, and it's the worst thing in the world.
I think that's such a good feature of the speedrun is that resetting it is boring.
Yeah, I mean it probably is, but it's like when you're being stupid and resetting, even though you hate it, it
Yeah,
is the worst
yeah,
thing.
yeah. It only works if it's actually enough of a barrier that you stop resetting.
Yeah, yeah. I mean the thing is in Afterimage, it's like if I mess up a jump, 20 seconds in, I'm like, oh, I'll just do it again better in 20 seconds from now.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad.
Whatever.
I had some toxic resets in Afterimage, but I don't know, maybe it was just bad. But I think generally, if I got past like I did try to complete runs that I didn't die in Afterimage, even sometimes when I did die. Maybe again, just because it was so short that it was like, it's not such a huge commitment to finish a run.
It's funny because that goes both ways with shorter runs, both ways.
Yeah.
Because on the one hand, you're like, well, the run is a lot more dead being plus 20 seconds in a 20-minute run than
Mhm.
in an 80-minute run. But also, like, it's only 20 minutes to finish it. As well just
Yeah.
go ahead and
It's like
finish it.
a light wall reset.
Yeah, just
You
get
have
to
a
Aga and then, yeah.
bad Agate Tower, I'll reset that.
Yeah.
It's the same as just doing a run. No, I don't know. I mean, it still happened, but I do think I was probably better about it. I still don't want to look at what my completion rate was.
Do you know your completion rate of NMG?
It's above 10%.
Oh,
It may even be above 15%.
that's not too
It
bad.
was Yeah, it was really bad for a while. But yeah, I've spent some periods being better about finishing runs. I
Yeah.
tend not to reset. Um, well, I don't know, sometimes I won't. Like if I'm in the dark world, I'll just continue like cold stare over trace death sometimes, but
Yeah.
not always. At first I thought that I wouldn't, but I remembered some times when I definitely did.
I usually don't finish it out if I die. I feel like the mental blow of dying a cold stare is so extreme that I have to just go cry for a while. I can't do anything else.
Yeah, I feel like what happens to me a lot more is that like I have like a bad split early in the dark world, and then I tilt and play badly, but I just play like slowly, so I don't like
Oh, so it doesn't all.
die
Yeah,
to things. I
you don't
just
have a good
get
excuse.
mad because I'm losing 10 seconds in every split. You know?
One of the saddest things to me is watch somebody have like a great light world and then fail hammer jump. Because
Yeah,
there's no solution. You can keep playing. I would encourage people to keep playing. It's bad, but it's not as bad as it feels in the moment. But like either you reset and then like your light world is dead, or you have to keep playing after a failed hammer jump. It's like so tragic.
yeah. It's like 20 seconds, right? And most
About, yeah.
people like even a lot of people in 125, but people above 125 probably have a split where they lost 20 seconds in their
Oh,
PB.
sure. Yeah.
Definitely had that for ages. I think I still have that.
My first 125 had like 35 seconds lost in GT alone.
Yeah, my I love telling this, but my first 125 had a 545 skull and an 809 DR,
545
which
skull.
was
I forgot about that.
it was so bad, but like it was just like a zero blue wall, mostly okay run.
Yeah.
That's how you get a 125.
Is that a moth death? That's almost enough to be a
No,
moth death.
no, it's really funny too because you did a review of my first 126, and that was like a 538 skull,
That was a.
I
Oh, I
think.
thought that was 127 I reviewed. Okay, yeah.
No, it was my first 126,
Okay.
and it was like you saw the split time, and you're just like, what the fuck happened with this split? And then it was worse in my 125.
That's funny. It's so crazy how much can go. Like, the run is just so long that you can screw up so much and still end up with a good time.
Yeah,
Like,
it
if
feels
you
a little
do
bit
a
like I'm.
hundred things right, you can do one thing really wrong, you know?
Yeah, whenever I say this, I feel like I'm accidentally shitting on like 125 to 127 players, but I don't mean it this way. But genuinely, you can do so badly and get a 125. Um, like it's kind of at the level where you're going to be losing some time, but you're probably good enough that if you have good splits everywhere else, you get a good time.
Yeah,
I'm wording this poorly, but like
I think at that
you
level,
think as like a 127 runner, you're like, wow, I have to be so good to get a 126. And then me now as a 125 runner, I look at 124 runners and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with them? They lose so much time in all these random splits. And I can't even do that. I'm worse than them.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
at some
just
point,
it's such a crazy I don't mean to keep going, but it's such a crazy like there's so many degrees of separation
yeah.
and like levels of being good at the game that people always overestimate how difficult it is to reach the next milestone.
It's really hard to look like a bunch of milestones ahead. Like the path from 131 to 123, like you cannot envision that correctly as a 131 runner. But each next milestone, like getting a 130, that always seems in reach when you have a 131. Like PBing by 20 or 30 seconds always feels in reach no matter what your PB is. And like if you believe me, if you're out there and you're a 130 something runner and you believe me when I say that, like you can just sort of extrapolate, right? Like you can PB by 30 seconds, but once you do that, you'll be able to do it again. And that's just how it goes for as long as you want until you get tired of it, I guess.
Yeah, something I did, and I think a lot of people do, is kind of think a little bit short term, where you're like, you have like maybe you have a mid 127. You're like, okay, for me to get a 126, I need to save 30 seconds. But really, it's just like, if you just keep playing and getting better, eventually you'll be good enough to lose 30 seconds and get a 126
Mm-hmm.
and still have so much to improve on because you never stop getting better. Like even Eri, his PB has 3 blue balls.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It's a
Yeah,
really good game.
it's like I think it's kind of I don't like setting goals for myself in that sense because I think it's kind of counterproductive. Like I don't want to be, when I come back to NMG, I don't want to be like I'm gonna get good enough to get a 124. I'm just gonna what I want to do is just I'm gonna get better, and then the 124 will just come at some point. I don't know that
Yeah.
I don't think I made the distinction clear, but the point is that like I'm not gonna like I don't want to look at my PB now and be like I have a 125.13. I don't want to look at it and be like, how do I save 14 seconds? Where
Right.
are my 14 seconds to save? I want to just
Yeah.
like hopefully have a run that we feel is the same for my standards, but is a 124.
For me, that is has been a much better way to interact with the game than trying to spike a good run that hits a milestone.
Yeah.
Which I did when I was going for 125, and I had such a bad time. I had such a toxic relationship with the game. I was really not enjoying it. Um, And when I was going for 124, I was very much in that vein. I was like, I'm just gonna keep playing and practicing and getting better, and like eventually one of these runs, I'm finishing 3 or 4 runs a week. One of them's gonna be a 124. Like that was the only way that I could do it that was going to be at all survivable for me. If I tried to like just grind out no like light worlds until I felt like I was on 124 pace, I was just gonna quit. Basically, I couldn't do that again. Like doing it for 125 was terrible. 124 was gonna be harder and worse. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the
I
best
hope it
way to
feels
get
good for you too.
a
It felt bad
high
for me.
124, best way to get a high 124 is just be a mid 124 runner and have an average run.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
A lot of my PBs have been like, I think, at least very high over performances, and it's like so bad because you set such
Yeah,
awful expectations for yourself after that happens. You're like, well, I can just do this again, and then your runs after that are all like 30 seconds behind, and you feel miserable.
yeah, be a trap. My
Speed
124.30
trap.
was like that. Speed trap. Yeah. Okay, cool. I think that's all. Yeah, that's all really interesting. Oh, yeah. One thing I wanted to say, Doom always used to say when I was like a 125 runner and he was like about to get a 123 or whatever, he would always say, "Oh, I'm not even fast. I just like kind of consistent. Only the top four runners are fast." And I'd be like so upset. I'd be like, "You're a top. You're like the sixth best player in the world. You're so fast." And then like the more I learn, the more I feel like that's kind of true. Like you're saying, like you can even at the top level, you can see all these things that you can be doing faster, and so much of it is just like having an average run that's pretty good. I don't think I explained that well at all, but
No, I think I get it. Yeah, like
yeah,
it helped me to realize that the 123, now the 122 runners, like they make mistakes in their runs.
yeah,
They're human. It's not like if you're an average player who does well, you get a 125, and if you're a godlike machine who is born with talent, you get a 124 or 123. Like everyone, you just keep learning. Like that's all there is to it.
yeah. And as long and so far, there's no limit, right?
Yeah,
Um, Certainly, any individual I think can keep learning pretty much as long as they want to, as long as they're having fun with it, or sort of toxically, compulsively forcing themselves to do it even though they're not having fun with it, depending on how it's
yeah.
going.
No, I
Um,
think it's actually I wanted to say this earlier and I kind of moved past it, but I think the seasonal energy runner type, it's actually kind of good because it's a lot of people sort of get stuck in like I've been working on this for so long, I want to just get a PB already, and it's like it whoops things too much, and it makes it so it always feels like as a spectator, it makes it so much harder to play that like taking breaks is just better sometimes when you're struggling, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think having an on and off relationship can definitely. Um,
I think I worded it a little poorly, but like it's sort of a more healthy long-term approach to the game that we're playing over like, hopefully years, but we're not hardcore grinding the entire time.
yeah, a hardcore grind, like a real grind. People use the word grind kind of for everything, but like a real grind where you're like banging out, a run every day or 2 or 3 hours a day of work on it. That's not sustainable forever. It's sustainable in bursts forever. Like you can do it, you know, 3 weeks and then take a break or whatever. But you can't. I don't think it's reasonable to do that all the time forever. You do need to pace yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I think an example of that is like when Eddie had like his 123, 20 something, he worked on like getting world record for like 2 years, just constantly doing runs. And you could see sometimes he was just miserable. And like he got it and it was sick.
Yeah,
And his work paid off, but like it must have been so awful to actually do.
it's hard to say. I wonder. I wonder if he would have said in the moment if it was worth the cost, and I wonder if he would say that now.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean he's the kind of person to do it. Like he's a very grindy
yeah,
person.
for sure.
But I really don't recommend that for like anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to value this accomplishment like really, really, really highly for it to be worth it
Yeah.
because the cost is going to be very high.
Yeah. Which I don't think happens because no one, like when you get a PB, it's pretty rare to be like, yep, I'm done now. This is good.
Yeah.
Whenever you get a PB, you're like, well, I'm good enough to do better. So
Yeah.
this sucks.
I'm surprised by how like detached I've been from the speedrun since I got my PB. Like I when I was working on the 123 grind, I was like uh you know, I was like, oh, man, that's gonna feel like a milestone, but like maybe it won't. Like maybe I'll just be like, oh, this run sucks, and I'll be back at it the next day.
Yeah.
But I really have felt like able to take a break for a while. I'm looking forward to the league though. So
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you got the 123 because it's such a huge accomplishment. But I think it was good that you got it when you did because you were having a string of painful runs that were dying late into the run and it looked so bad, so painful.
yeah, some of that's painful. I don't think that streak was especially painful. I think the like last year, like the early last year was pretty painful for me, but then I kind of took a long, not like a full break, but like I wasn't playing a lot for a while. And the grind that ended in the PB, I think, was actually mostly pretty fine.
I guess
Maybe I've got rose-colored glasses, but that's my memory of it.
it was probably heartening that you were having enough good runs to die late.
Yeah, yeah, making progress definitely helped. All right, you got anything else to talk about before we move into the meme category of the segment of the session?
Only I can think of. I'm sure I forgot something, but I think I mostly rambled and didn't make any sense.
Well, that's fine. So we're gonna do another tier list. This time we're doing all of the tournaments that you've participated in that I could find.
Oh boy. Wow. This is a shorter list of tournaments than I was expecting.
So I just found your challenge profile
Oh, okay.
and I added league seasons that you've participated in. I
Yeah.
didn't really know where to look for more. I guess I sort of thought about finding like ladder-tationals, but I didn't do that. But we can talk about those too. I just didn't get around to finding the list.
Yeah, there's been some on like start.gg, and there's some that have been like purely in Discord.
Yeah.
This is a good list.
Well, if you think of any others, I can try to add them. But for now, all right, let's start with 2020 AD keys.
Okay, are we talking the tournament in general or my performance in the tournament? Or
No,
maybe
your
both?
just your vibes about how you felt about the tournament, which is whatever combination of how it was run, what the modes were, how you performed in it, like how good the commentary was, just anything that you want.
Okay. If I'm remembering correctly, this tournament, I made brackets. I did pretty well in Swiss. I faced some difficult opponents, and that's why I lost some races. And then in my first bracket race, I was kind of victim to the classic CT key hunt, and I chose incorrectly, and my opponent chose correctly, and I lost because of that. It was a
Bummer.
fun tournament. I think I did well. I played well. I would say, hmm, it's like B tier, but it's a high B. It's
Okay.
a B sharp.
Okay. Uh, that would make it enharmonic with C, which would be lower. So,
Oh, right. It's, yeah.
okay, 2023 casual boots cross keys. I have no memory of this tournament even existing. How'd you feel about this one?
I barely remember joining this tournament.
Okay.
If you had asked me whether I'd been in this tournament, I would have told you that I was not in this tournament, but I guess I was.
Okay.
Um, I don't remember doing well. I don't remember any specific races. I think I do remember joining. I think this was the one with flute as well. Or maybe I'm wrong. I would say it was fine. The mode is like interesting, but not super. I don't know. I have no real. I don't feel any desire to play a tournament like that again. So I'll say C. I
Okay.
don't know. C feels harsh, but there's going to be like all the glitch tournaments are going into SNA, so I can't put it in B tier because I don't feel like it's one of my favorite tournaments from the rest.
So, as Chex described it, which I think was a beautiful description of the purpose of putting a tier list into your content, your goal is to make a bell curve and alienate your friends. So keep that in mind when you're placing these.
Right. All my friends play glitch modes though. Well, not all of them, but many of them.
Well, all your
And
real
I'm
friends.
right. Yeah.
Okay, 2023 casual boots.
Yeah, I remember this tournament. Well, I went 6-0 in groups and then lost immediately in brackets. I lost points on race time in the group stage, despite going 6-0.
I remember that.
I it was fine. I don't really like casual boots, so I guess this is going in C. It's gonna be difficult to make a bell curve,
That's
but
fine.
we'll see.
Okay, 2020 co-op. This was the first tournament in your challenge history. I'm pretty sure.
This tournament was like I felt a bit bad. I was thinking about this tournament the other day actually, because basically it happened after I moved to where I'm currently living, and we had some people like I'm kind of glossing over this, but some people came in and like they broke in and threatened us and stuff, and
Oh
it
my
was like really
goodness.
scary. We had to move for a bit. So this
Wait.
tournament, the finals of this tournament happened when I was staying somewhere else, and I couldn't really do co-op races. So we basically just didn't do the finals, and I felt so bad about that
Oh
because
gosh.
the finals were again. Well, it was the finals of like the we got split up into like the top half of groups and the bottom half of groups. So we made the finals of the bottom half, and we played against Shady and Yoho. Their team name was Heck Ramdo, and I guess they won because we couldn't play the match.
Wow, you've been letting down Yoho since day one.
Yes, since the very beginning.
Also, is that
Um,
a very sneaky Chrono Trigger joke? I bet it is, since Yoho's part of it.
what Heck Ramdo?
Yeah.
No, I think they just don't like Rando.
You'll understand when you play Chrono Trigger.
No, it was fun. Our group was very intense. We had a lot of people like tied at 4-2, except we lost we kind of choked one of our co-op cross keys races, and we ended up going 3-3. So we
Ooh,
just barely missed out on this big tie for first, and we went into the lower bracket as a result.
that's too
So I'll
bad.
say this is a B tier tournament. It
Who
was pretty
was
good.
your
We
partner?
I was playing with Purdy Wong.
Oh, cool.
We did pretty well. I I like that co-op tournaments are sort of intermittently happening because they're a lot of fun.
I like co-op. I One of my favorite tournaments was Glitch League when Momo ran that. I
Yeah,
think 3 years ago. That was a great event.
that was a lot of fun.
She should run another one of those.
I won that tournament. How could I forget? That was my first
Oh
tournament
yeah,
victory.
that's not on here. That was another one run out of spreadsheets, I guess.
Yeah,
Um, okay,
I think
2021 HMG. Sorry, you can keep talking. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
that was a Google Doc tournament. That was the only thing I was gonna say. Yeah,
Okay.
HMG 2021. This was my first glitch tournament. I had not done any glitch racing before this.
Wow, really?
I not like publicly. Like it was some of the in-house races. The like part of this group that I would race in before real races had involved among others Pody Wong and Haiki Type, who are like pretty strong glitch experts.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely back then they were like some of the main glitch experts.
Yeah, Purdy Long was
And
very legendary.
I learned a lot of my glitches from them, so you have them to thank. But yeah, this summer I joined the qualifiers. I was like, I don't know, I guess I'll race glitches. Could be fun. I was seed one out of
Wow,
the qualifiers. I lost immediately to Spleedy, and then Crystal won the whole thing by basement clipping in all of the races of the finals.
that's
So that was a pretty
hilarious.
fun tournament. I'll put this in A. Borderline between S and A.
Okay. So speaking of being first seed, 2023 main tourney.
Yes, I
I think
wasn't
you were
technically the
second seed
first.
in that one, right?
Yeah. So this was one of the offline async qualifiers. I think it might have been the first, or at least for the integration of it that we have now. And I did all my qualifiers. I got an average of 101, which is absurd. I performed on average better than the bar time
Yeah.
for the races. and I was the second seed
Yeah.
because Humbug's a fucking crazy guy.
Who was it?
Humbug.
Oh yeah, he's
He
good.
he did really, really well. One of his races, he finished like 15 minutes ahead of anyone else.
Oh wow, it's like you
But
and No
the
Logic.
yeah, the score's capped at 105, so he didn't get like a crazy score
Yeah,
for that one. Um, yeah, and then I went 6-0, and Humbug went 5-1, so I was the highest remaining seed for brackets.
that's what it was, right?
I
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I lost. I think I lost my first match. It was yeah, it was a mirror of the casual boots tournament where I went 6-0 and then lost immediately. I lost to Radical Sniper
Oh yeah.
99.
Yeah.
Um, it was fun. I had pretty high expectations for myself in that tournament, but I didn't really feel like that beat up about losing. It was the only main tournament where I've made it out of groups.
So
So
weird.
I've had some pretty rough groups, honestly. My group in this one was Big Dunka, Power to Mario, and I don't think it was Sacred Shoots, but I think it was. Oh, it was Dreeky, another one of the French runners.
Mm.
We Dreeky and I had a really awful race where I spent like 2 minutes mimic clipping and then I died in the climb, and then I spent another 2 minutes mimic clipping and I still won because he like lost located an ice rod.
Oh no,
It
dude.
was so bad. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I'd say this tournament is B. It's another high B.
Okay. All right, 2021 main tourney.
Yeah, this is my first one, I guess, judging by the
I mean, this is not
options.
perfect data collection, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I joined the 2020 tournament because I was very new to racing at the time.
Right.
2021, I think I was seed 33, so I just missed out on being in the top quartile, and my
Hmm.
group was oh, it was
And check.
Fred. It was Fred Coughlin, um, not Acer. Acer was a different tournament. In the Name of DT and Starks, and I had close series against Fred and DT. Actually, DT and we did a double header as like the elimination match. The first seed, he got a 105, and I lost by like 5 minutes. It was funny. And then the second seed was awful for both of us because we kind of skipped different things. Like he was way ahead of me because I skipped something, and then he didn't look at like Floating Island, which had boots. So I had boots for ages, and he didn't. And then he won by a bit. So I was knocked out of groups. That was fine. I think Dante won this tournament. It was the one where Gamma was like entirely undefeated until losing to Dante in the finals. So I'll put this in C just because I had some awful races.
Okay. NMG League Season 5.
Yeah, this was the second to last one, second to most recent one, where
Yes.
I was in the top group.
Yep.
I faced Matt in the first race, which is funny because my previous race had been against Matt.
That was the Matt Tam race car.
Yeah, the Matt Tam race car where I think I lost because I missed Torch Glitch. I was so down on myself that I was like, I'm going to go for a YOLO blue spin because Matt's already done. But I was like 2 seconds ahead and through the race.
There's so many stories of that. I mean, especially in Rando, where people are like, "Oh, I missed something for 2 minutes. There's no possible way my opponent missed it," and then
Yeah.
throw the race. But it happens in Rando too, or in NMG too.
Well, it was, I mean, I don't know what races, so
Yeah.
I could have just checked. But like Matt is someone I think is one of the most consistent runners. So I was like, there's no way Matt died to Moldholm and he's tied with me, except that's exactly what happened. Um, and then I don't remember my second race. It might have been against Bitey. I don't think that's true.
It's
But I
against
lost that
Tori.
race when that's right. Yeah, I could have won, but then I didn't. And then I beat Chex in the last race.
Right.
I think we both had bad runs.
X
This was fun.
Well, you had a 126.35, which I think was probably a pretty solid run for you. Although I'm sure you
Yeah.
hated it. Checks had a 130.39. I don't know. I don't remember what
Oh,
happened
oh,
there.
I think he jingle glitched. He jingle glitched in this race.
Oh, yeah, that would explain it. Oh, I think that's something he
Yeah.
was already behind and then Jiggly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
that
it
was a
was like
tragedy.
I think I was like ahead and then like lost some time and he was catching up and then jingle glitched.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was fun. This is my first one after a break and I was enjoying it a lot more than the previous ones. So I'll put this one in B.
Okay. 2023 HMG. We talked about this one earlier. I'm guessing this is getting a high grade.
Yeah, this one is going into S. This one was the one that I won. I was like seed number 6, I think. I had some pretty fun races. I played Euro first. We were at a 2-1 match. He's still mad because I went to Kakariko and basement clipped. I played Joshua. We also had a close series. I got really lucky in game 3 to find a hammer in a waterfall fairy or something when I was like, he was encumbered really early and I was like barely holding on until I got the hammer. I played Gamachu. That was also a pretty close race. And then Skelly and MM2, they were less close matches. Like I didn't lose any races after Gamma, but they were both fun. They were both good, obviously. Both Skelly and MM2 did well.
Yeah.
It was a fun tournament. It was like I didn't get to race like a lot of the common glitched races, so it was kind of some variety. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Um,
that tournament had a very good turnout of like rando players who aren't. I think of rando players and glitch rando players as separate populations, and this had a lot of people
right.
from the rando population.
Yeah, I think this was the biggest glitch tournament
Yeah,
like ever.
yeah,
So yeah, it had a lot of fun matches in general. Like Jax lost some matches that were a surprise because no one ever expects Jax to lose. And then like just generally, it was like a good combination of like the experienced runners and some of the newer runners. Like Skelly making it to finals was like obviously he's really good, but I don't think many people would have picked him to do that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of
good
a dark
tournament.
horse, but showed up.
Now I'm the reigning champion of glitches because of this tournament.
Yeah,
President of glitches.
president.
Yes.
Isn't it the prime minister or something over there?
Well, glitch. It's the Universal Federation of Glitches.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, season one of NMG League. I'm looking up the history on this one. You were in the light world in this
Yeah,
one, which is the
yeah. This was
bottom
the
16 players.
this one was not on, or it was on challenge instead of using your bot.
Yep. And the
This
last
one,
bracket, the last round was on Google Sheet or Google, yeah, Sheets, because
that's right,
challenge
because you
was
had
not
some.
capable of creating
Yeah,
correct Swiss pairings.
yes. Yeah, I remember this a little bit. I think I raced Spleeby, Corey,
You raced Chimo,
Chimo. That's right. Yes, Chimo, and then
Mr. Aaron Snurd,
yes,
and then Corey.
yeah. I was having a really good race against a run against Chimo, and then I died in Total Rock, and it was like
Way she goes.
yeah, and then you died in Total Rock the day after and tried to claim Total Rock deaths. No, yeah, that was fun. I felt like I did well, even though I lost my first race. I had some. I think this was when I started off with the 127. I got the 126 during the tournament, and then almost got a 125 in my race against Corey, but I kind of blew it in GT. Um, yeah, this was fun. It was definitely like one of the first steps to me taking NMG more seriously, even though I didn't take many steps after that. Um, I would say this
Nice.
goes in A tier. Which tier I will not tell you.
Okay. Very funny. All right, season two of NMG League.
Yeah, this was the dark one for me. It was a great tournament. I just was not enjoying myself, and I had some bad runs, lots of deaths. I had this race with I was racing Bitey, but we did it at the same time as Matt and Ari. So it was like I was so intimidated, and it was just not very pleasant. Um,
It's
yeah, I didn't
interesting
have
that
good
people
run.
experience that as stressful or intimidating.
No, yeah, I don't think that way anymore. I definitely used to a lot, and it
I
was
know. I mean,
awful.
you're not the
But
only one who said it. It's not something that would have even really occurred to me, but definitely a lot of people feel that way.
it was less about like losing the race and more just like I felt so out of place as like three runners who I like looked up to and like learned from, and then me as like being like a minute or two behind all of them. I felt bad that like
Yeah.
my gameplay would be shown on the same screen as theirs. I would not feel the same way now. So this one was fine. Like I mean, the negative things were purely my problem, not the tournaments. But
I
I
mean,
probably
again,
have to
you're
put it
allowed to
in.
take that into account. It's your
Yeah,
rating.
no,
It won't hurt my
I'm putting
feelings.
this in D tier because of that. Also because I don't know. I don't really know what other tournament is going to go in D tier.
Also, fair enough. We do
But
need a bell
maybe
curve
we'll
here.
find out. Yeah, we do need a bell curve.
All right, 2022 main tourney.
Yeah, this one I did make it into the top quartile from qualifiers. I was in a group with Hydropower, Jula Ninja, and somebody else. I forgot the last member, but it was the two Australians in the same group, which was great.
Wait, who's the
I
other Australian?
Jula Ninja.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But yeah, it was I was like one I if I had won an extra race, I think I would have made it out, but I just barely didn't. It was like oh whatever tournament, I guess. I didn't like
Duke
I didn't
Firebird.
that's it, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I haven't heard that name
Um
in a long time.
yeah. Not a great tournament for me. I don't remember who won this tournament. Maybe this was the Dante tournament actually. I don't know.
This
Yeah, I
tournament
guess
was
this
won by Obscure Lifeform.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I guess this goes in. This one can also go in D actually.
Okay. All right, most recent season 6 of NMG League. No comment?
Well, no, I mean it was my runs were okay. I remember not hating my runs. I don't think they were like amazing, but they were fine. It was like it was a very fun tournament for me to watch because I've sort of just grown more invested in NMG and its runners. So I would say probably B. It was fine.
All right. That's the end of the NMG League, so we can stop having that conversation. 2020 SGL.
Yeah, this tournament was um very crazy for me because I went in with low expectations. I barely made it out of my group. My group had Kyung in it, who was like
Kyung's
an
a monster.
absolute yeah, he was a basically we were just like, okay, which one of us is also making it out after Kyung goes
Yeah.
4-0? It was me, Hydropower again, Ace Zero, and Scrub Casual. We ended up me and Scrub Casual had a tiebreak to make it out. I barely won. So for me, it was already a miracle to make the tiebreak and make it to brackets. But then my first matchup was Wayne, and then if I won that, I would probably play against P Train, who was like also a monster back then. I mean, he's
Yeah.
still good, but he was like comparatively one of the top runners at the time.
Right.
And I won both of them by finding an ice rod on Laser Bridge in both races. It was
Sick.
it was a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I remember that vividly. But it was like this tournament happened while it was like a there was like a heat wave or whatever. It was like super hot, and it
Right.
was because it was an STL tournament. It was all happening very quickly. I didn't have a lot of break between races, and it was like I was so glad to lose the race that I lost because I was like barely sleeping because between racing all the time and it
Yeah,
being so hot.
that sucks.
Um, yeah, it was fun to do well. I'd say B.
That was a tournament where they forced you had to run a cam to compete, which I feel
Yeah,
like
well,
psychotic.
that was the first one. STL has been doing that since, but this was because it was 2020
Yeah,
during the
everyone was
pandemic.
off
They
was
did
online.
the only online tournament.
Terrible.
I mean, I'm a big fan of that being online tournaments at SGL, but I do not like being on camera.
I noticed. Yeah.
Yeah,
2022 no logic.
yeah. This tournament, obviously, it's no logic, so it's big project. Um,
Yeah.
I, like I said earlier, I had some rough races in that one, and I felt like I was not playing very well. I lost to you, and then I lost to Chex. Um, and like a lot of my matches were fun. I did a lot of crazy stuff. I did one of my races was like I for the first time I did the double STC to get Hera basement from Desert, and I pulled the mirror, and the mirror just
That was so
completely won.
fucked, dude. You
It
won
just
that race
won
by
me the
like
race.
40 minutes. Like it was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
no, it was absurd. I had some really close races as well, particularly with VZ. We had some like crazy sword hunt races. Um, yeah, it was good. I don't like some of my later races, and I kind of got a bit burnt out, which I think was not. I was not the only one who experienced that in this tournament.
Yeah.
Um, so it was good. I'll put it in B tier because No Logic is sick. Or sorry, A. I meant A. Um, it's sick, but it was like less memorable for me.
Fair enough. They can't all be S tier.
Yeah,
2021 cross keys.
yeah. I think this was the one that was a big bracket instead of Swiss, and I lost to someone who was later revealed to be a cheater, and then I also lost to Walter by like 30 seconds. That was a very exciting race. I This was one of my first tournaments as well, and I wasn't like a hardcore cross keys player, and I ended up being the seventh seed from qualifiers. Um, so it was like surprising for me, and then yeah, after all that, I didn't expect to lose so quickly, but it happens. It was fine. I'm gonna put it in B tier mostly because it will make it very nice and symmetrical, but it's a lower B tier.
Oops, B. Okay. Going B. And then finally, the ongoing 2024 no logic.
Yes, this tournament is going in S tier. It obviously has just started. There's a
Well,
lot of
now's the
tournaments to
best
be
it's
played.
ever going to get because
Yeah,
you have
it's
all
all
the
downhill.
anticipation and excitement, and you haven't had to actually race or
None of the
experience any
failures.
frustration yet.
Yeah, exactly. No, this one should be really good. Like we have um a lot of new people who are
Yeah.
getting into glitches for from the mental tournament earlier in the year. We have been playing a lot. We've done a lot of phrases in the lead up to the tournament, and we've seen a lot of different people join them and do well in them. This one should be really, really good. Some of the matchups already have been very exciting. We've had some crazy close and exciting races, and it hopefully should just get better. And I feel a lot more confident about my no logic performance than I did in 2022. So yeah, easy S tier. When I win it, it'll be my second greatest accomplishment.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm
I mean, when
excited
I
for it.
lose to checks, yeah,
I'm excited to watch it and comment and stuff. I love No Logic. I'm not able to participate this year. I mean, able to participate, but not willing to participate because like half of the seeds that I ran trying to get ready for the tournament were incredibly miserable experiences. But the half that are fun
yeah,
are really fun.
yeah. I don't. No logic has become. I mean, it just kind of gets more and more better because people figure out better ways to do things. Like
Yeah.
in 2022, Easton was like a chore, and it was awful. And now Easton is better. It's free and there's still like variety in how you do it. Um, I don't think so many people predicted me to win. My cat is here.
Yeah, I can
So
hear.
many people
Hey,
predicted
Chicken.
me to win on challenge, which I don't really feel was justified, but it's probably somewhat influenced by how the races have been going lately, which are definitely in my favor.
Um, yeah, I mean, I predicted you to win. I think you have the. Uh, I think you're the most likely single person to win, but still like a dog against the field.
Right. I mean, it's like if you think about like Shex and Krithel are kind of like the big scary names, and I don't have to face either of them for a long time if I
Right.
keep winning. Which is not to say that I can't lose to anyone else, but it's like Chex and Krithel both have their odds reduced because they probably have to play each other. Or Malmo, who is also really good.
Yeah, I
There's
think those are the
like a
top four.
congestion at that part of the bracket, which is like really exciting early races to watch, but it's like,
The end
you
might
kind
be
of
a
want
little
those
high.
races.
I was
You
saying
want them to
this.
happen later.
I was saying this to you the other day. I do kind of want them to happen later, but I kind of trust in the seeding, and those people got their seeding. I think might just be accurate. Like maybe Duden just deserves his seed, and you're gonna have sick races in the top bracket too. You know.
Yeah, no, I mean, my
Um,
bracket is not easy for sure. And
yeah.
even if like matchups are a little messed up, double elimination goes such a long way on in terms of fixing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Can't
I
go
lost in
crazy
the
with the
first
losers
round in
bracket.
2022,
Yeah.
but then I made a losers bracket run and still ended up losing to Czechs to be like top six, I think,
Uh, I, th- I don't remember. I can check real quick. But yeah.
something like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely not complaining about having
Yeah.
the
You
big
were
matchups
fine.
early because it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah. Cool. I guess we should. I meant to bring this up earlier before we got to this, but you sort of winked about this. But you looking forward to RPO tomorrow?
Yes, and no, it should be
You're the
fun.
world record
I
holder, kind of. Although I guess it won't go on TMZ.
maybe probably not because I didn't technically verify my run,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's like it's a surprisingly fun category. Like it seems like it would be awful with no boots, and
No, it's
parts of
fun.
it are awful, but like it was really interesting to figure out how to do it. Like it wasn't super straightforward. I mean, it kind of, but like there's more nuance than it just being like a normal Master Sword run.
The route is actually ultimately pretty straightforward, mostly because we couldn't figure out anything that is better than escape first. But it was fun to think
Yeah,
about, and
yeah,
it's fun to do different clips, and also like escape is whatever, like okay, sure, boring to just do escape normally, but the rest of the run is like really just action packed. Like you're not dashing,
yeah,
but you're doing a lot of stuff. You're taking a lot of game actions. There's no like waiting. There's a lot of like you get to do very difficult boss fights. Like bootless Moldorm is a challenge. I really enjoy it. I've actually not had a lot of trouble with it, although I, kind of expect to tomorrow on the marathon. But like that's a fun fight not having boots to bail you out. It's fun having to do sword bomb bolus. Like that's a weird thing to get to practice. So I don't know. I think it's a cool category. I think it's underrated. It's a meme, but it's a
and
good meme.
yeah. No, it's a lot of fun. It's like the only really painful part is the manual Kiki skip,
Yeah.
but other than that, it is genuinely enjoyable, and I'm glad that we tricked two other people into playing it.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe after SNES Superstars, it'll be the hot new thing. Everyone will run
Yeah,
it.
everyone will flock to it and forget about NMG League.
Yeah, we'll have to run RPO League just out of pure
Yes,
audience demand.
yes, blind demand.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Got anything else to say before we call it? Or
Not
do you want
really.
your fans to
Mostly
follow
just
you on Twitch?
no. I don't want any fans.
Okay.
I just want people to watch the No Logic tournament because it's absolutely my favorite rando event. It's nothing even comes close. No Logic is so much fun.
Hell yeah.
I've been doing a lot of like volunteering for the races just because it's like it's just an excuse to watch the races.
Yeah. For me, I don't watch rando races closely enough to get much out of them if I'm not commentating them generally. So it's fun to commentate them and like
Yeah,
actually be really engaged.
I mean Doomtap has been commentating some races and not watching them. So
Anyone else you want to call out? You call out PH. You call out
no,
Doom Tap.
no, I'm just kidding. Doomtap's commentary has been really fun actually.
Yeah. I'll cut that part where you said the nice thing. He won't have to hear it. All right. Well, thank you, and I will stop the recording here.